If you're anything like me, you've probably spent countless hours meticulously dodging, parrying, and dying your way through the incredible worlds of FromSoftware. And let's be honest, who doesn't love a good challenge? But lately, I've been hearing a lot of talk about something called Soulslike Fatigue. And as a huge fan of the genre, it's something I wanted to dive into. So with all that being said, let's break it down. So what exactly is Soulslike Fatigue? It's not a medical condition, obviously, but it's a very real feeling for a growing number of gamers. Essentially, it's that sense of being utterly exhausted or burned out by the sheer volume of games that mimic the core design principles of FromSoftware's titles. Dark Souls, Bloodborne, and of course, the behemoth that is Elden Ring. It's not about disliking the genre, it's about feeling overwhelmed by its pervasive influence across the gaming landscape. And what caused this surge? Well, it's pretty simple. Success. FromSoftware didn't just create games, they created a whole new paradigm. The brutal difficulty, the environmental storytelling, the satisfaction of overcoming a seemingly impossible boss, it's intoxicating. And like any intoxicating formula, everyone wants a piece of the pie. Developers saw the massive sales of Elden Ring, for instance, which shipped over 20 million copies, and thought, hey, we can do that. Which in theory is great. More games for us. But in practice, it often leads to less stellar results. Now let's talk about the specific reason why some players genuinely feel this fatigue. And honestly, I get it, even if I haven't quite reached that point myself. First, oversaturation and the copy-paste problem. This is probably the biggest one. After Dark Souls blew up, we started seeing a wave of Souls-likes. Some were fantastic, like Nioh with its deep combat mechanics and loot system, or Lies of P with its incredible atmosphere and weapon customization. But then you get games that just copy the homework. They slap on a stamina bar, a dodge roll, some bonfire-like checkpoints, and call it a day. They often miss the nuanced level design, the intricate lore, or the precise combat feel that makes FromSoft's games so special. It's like eating your favorite meal every single day. Eventually, even pizza gets old if that's all you have. We're seeing a lot of games that feel like they're just checking boxes, and that can make the whole genre feel stale. Next, the relentless difficulty grind. Look, I love a challenge. That feeling of finally beating Melania in Elden Ring, it felt great. But not everyone wants that constant uphill battle. For some, the endless cycle of dying, learning, and dying again can be genuinely exhausting, especially when you're facing a poorly designed boss with unfair hitboxes or punishing runback. If every other game you pick up demands that same level of intense focus and commitment, it's understandable to want a break. It becomes less about fun and more about work. And lastly, the loss of novelty and predictability. Remember the first time you played Dark Souls? Everything felt fresh and mysterious. The hidden paths, the cryptic lore, the sudden ambush around every corner. Now with so many games using the same template, you can almost predict the design choices. Oh, here's the poison swamp section. Yep, time for a gank squad. Here's the giant knight with a predictable moveset. The magic starts to fade when the formula becomes too transparent. It's like watching a magic trick too many times. You start to see how it's done. Now for the flip side of the coin, because while Souls-like fatigue is a real feeling for some, others argue that it's a bit of an overreaction or even a privileged complaint. And they have some valid points. First of all, you don't have to play them all. This is probably the strongest counterargument. No one is holding a sword to your throat and forcing you to buy every single Souls-like that comes out. The gaming world is enormous. If you're feeling burned out on the genre, there are literally thousands of other games to play. Go play a cozy farming sim, a narrative-driven adventure, a competitive shooter. The idea that you must consume every single entry in a genre and then complain about being tired of it is a bit self-inflicted, isn't it? If you only watch superhero movies, don't be surprised if you get tired of superhero movies. Next, the Souls-like label is too broad. This is a big one. The term Souls-like gets slapped on so many games that it almost loses its meaning. Is Jedi Fallen Order a Souls-like because it has a parry and a bonfire-like checkpoint system? Is Monster Hunter a Souls-like because of its challenging boss fights and stamina management? While these games share elements, they often have entirely different design philosophies and core mechanics. Calling everything with a dodge roll a Souls-like can dilute the genre and unfairly lump genuinely innovative games into a category they don't fully belong to. True Souls-likes are more than just difficulty. They're about intricate world design, cryptic lore, deliberate combat, and a very specific sense of progression. And lastly, it's a niche complaint from dedicated fans and content creators. Let's be real, the people who are most likely to experience Souls-like fatigue are often the most dedicated fans. The ones who play every FromSoft game multiple times, or content creators who feel obligated to cover every new Souls-like release. For the average gamer who might pick up Elden Ring and one other similar game in a year, this fatigue simply isn't an issue. They're enjoying the genre at a more casual pace, and that's perfectly fine. So it can sometimes come across as a complaint from a very specific self-selecting group, rather than a widespread problem for the entire gaming community. Alright, so if you are feeling that creeping sense of Souls-like fatigue, don't despair. As a fellow fan, I want to offer some suggestions to help you rekindle that spark, or at least give you a much needed break. First, take a break from the genre. This sounds obvious, but it's crucial. Seriously, put down the katana, hang up the great shield, and go play something completely different. Immerse yourself in a relaxing indie game. Explore a vast open world with no stamina bar, or blast some aliens in a fast-paced shooter. Reset your palette. When you come back, the challenge might feel fresh again. I love Souls-likes, that's why I made this channel. But this year I've also played Clair Obscur, South of Midnight, Assassin's Creed Shadows, and a ton of Marvel Rivals, just to name a few. I've also been on a bit of a nostalgia kick with my brother, as we've been replaying Army of Two, The Devil's Cartel, and the recently released Stronghold Crusader Definitive Edition. All this to say that variety is a good thing. Next, try a different kind of Souls-like. If you want to stick with the genre, try a game that innovates on the formula. Maybe play a more narrative-focused one like Code Vein, or one with faster, more aggressive combat like Thymesia. These games take the core loop and twist it in a way that might feel fresh and exciting again. It's like switching from a traditional pepperoni pizza to a deep dish supreme. It's still pizza, but a completely different experience. And lastly, appreciate the true masters of the craft. Remember that the true issue isn't with the genre itself, but with the games that don't do it justice. If you're feeling burned out, go back to the source. Revisit Bloodborne for its gothic horror and aggressive combat. Or even Sekiro for its razor-sharp deflection system. Remind yourself why you fell in love with these games in the first place. A poorly made knockoff can't take away the brilliance of the originals. So there you have it, a breakdown of Souls-like fatigue. It's a valid feeling for a lot of players, but it's also a testament to the incredible impact FromSoftware has had on this industry. It's an issue of quality versus quantity, and I'm hopeful that as the market matures, we'll see more innovative and polished titles that expand the genre rather than simply imitating it. But what do you think? Do you feel Souls-like fatigue? What games did you play to cure it? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe for more content on Souls and Souls-like games. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.